won't tell you when, but I graduated with a degree in journalism. My name is Julie Murphy. I work for Arizona Farm Bureau. And I'm a farm kid, grew up on a cotton, wheat, and alfalfa farm in southern Arizona. But I'll direct my question to Glenn. Tell us a little bit more about some of your specific production. For example, I have learned since I begun work for Farm Bureau that the average chicken can lay an egg a day. But what are some of the other things that Hickman Family Farms, in terms of your daily, weekly production, can we understand and see as consumers?
Do I need to, can you guys hear me without it? Okay.
No, we need the mic.
You can't? What? How do you make it go?
It's on. Just
oh,
put it
okay.
up there.
All right, thank you. Okay, little factoids. Okay, we have about 5 million laying hens scattered from Colorado to Arizona. They're located on 4 different farms. Our customer base ranges from Nebraska to Hawaii. We have brown eggs and white eggs and jumbo eggs and little eggs. We pasteurize eggs. We do, those 5 million chickens don't lay quite an egg a day, so let's call them 4 million eggs. We have the ability to break and pasteurize, which is what bakeries use. We do that at the rate of about 72,000 eggs an hour. We have a hard cook operation that cooks, peels, and packages about 8,300 eggs an hour, and our chickens consume feed, great wads of feed. We use about a train of feed, and a train's about a mile long, and they consume that every month. And you know, what goes in also comes out. So our chickens produce about 1 million pounds of fresh fertilizer every single day. So that kind of gives you an idea of I think we kind of feel like we're really not in the egg business. We manage a lot of logistics. We have a lot of moving parts, pieces, trucks, people that are going back and forth and to and fro all day, every day.
Hi, I'm Ann Suzuki. I'm the Assistant Dean for New College, and I work with primarily freshmen and all of our undergrads. How do you encourage a career in what you're doing? Because oftentimes when students come in and freshmen, your industry isn't usually the first thing they think of, and then you have varied backgrounds. What advice would you give them, and how have you met that need of keeping the incoming generation interested in your areas?
Great question. You want to start?
Yeah, it is a good question. Yeah, we hear a lot of talk about how these are multi-generational, farms, which to a certain extent they are. But there are ways to get into it without actually inheriting or being raised in the family. Our operations have a constant influx of people. I mean, my 25 employees aren't the only people that are employed by the dairy industry. We have an entire staff of people at our milk plants. We have quality control people. We have feed salesmen. We have pharmaceutical salesmen for when the animals are sick. We have veterinarians. We have the manure side. We have the farming side. There's a lot of different entry-level organizations. Often, through agribusiness, people will get, will be able to be employed by any number of companies that offer those services to us. And you can also start your way up the old-fashioned way. Start working on a dairy and see how far you can go. Certainly, my grandfather's dairy in South Phoenix went under in 1954. My dad started milking cows in 1966 on a dairy, and he owns 3 now, and just started by milking cows.
I actually believe there's more opportunities in agriculture than 25 years ago. When I say that, I mean from a much broader spectrum than you just saw me on a horse or him in his barn or Glenn on a truck and Don, caring for some hogs. we have food safety technicians that are working in and around our places all the time now. We have feed experts that are working with. We have nutritionists that are working and making sure the feed and the vitamins and the stuff we got are right and balanced and everything for the animals. We have veterinarians, the animal care, animal husbandry folks that work around the whole human element side of it, which is safety on the farm, safety on that, which, you know, when Hickman's farm former safety guy in 1961 was the same guy that delivered the eggs to Basha's or somewhere, and I guarantee you that's not the case today. So I think there's, for people that maybe didn't grow up on a farm or producing in a farm, but they have interest in food production in some way, there's a wide variety of opportunities to get involved in it.
I just have to agree. I don't know. I think they both mentioned every industry, but I was born and raised in a city, and you know, I had a passion for agriculture based on some early childhood experiences, and this is where I am today, and I love what I do today. So there, as Bass said, there's a lot of different opportunities, a whole set of ancillary businesses that support the food industry. You know, we all don't really need a car. We all don't need a lot of things we have today, but we all do need to eat. So, you know, there's a lot of different things that if you're interested in agriculture, food production, you can get into.
Do you mean something besides nepotism or inheritance? How do we get in this business? That worked for me. You know, I got to tell you, I echo everything everybody says, but one of the things that we may put in perspective is we have pre-op operations, which means every day we have to get ready to go. And at the end of each day, we have post-op operations, which means we document and review everything we did. I worry someday that our pre-op and our post-op are going to meet in the middle and leave no room for op. But all those technical things that everyone else just mentioned happen every day, and a lot of them have nothing to do with animals. So I think in terms of how you encourage someone to get in this industry, I think if they have an interest in you know, almost anything, they can pursue it in agriculture.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Fish, and I work for the Maricopa County Farm Bureau, and I'd like to just add to some of the things that they've said about careers in agriculture. Don't forget that most of these operations need computers, so you can work in computers in agriculture. Public relations and marketing, and working with people in the agricultural organizations that are out there are also opportunities for people who like to be associated with agriculture, and teaching. We always need teachers.
Thank you, Jeanette.
I'm Jean McGrath. I'm a farmer in Glendale. I constantly hear about our food produced here, that it's full of hormones and chemicals and antibiotics. And would you discuss that, the cost of that, and et cetera?
You know, we're not just made up of carbon. We also are made up of chemicals and other nutrients and other metals, and so they are. I think what reference to you talked about, like in the hormone situation, whatever, because the beef industry gets a really bad rap about that, I believe. That food continuum I talked about today is different than it was 50 years ago. 50 years ago, you could find different types of production, but there were lots of similarities. Today, that food continuum is vast and varied, and many of you probably shop in that way, where you can go to Sprouts and then they have what they will call natural or organic or whatever the labels are that they call. But what I will say is that everything is relative. And for instance, on the beef side, we get beat up about hormones. The hormone they talk about is estrogen. Generally, that's the hormone that is used in some beef production. It is used because it creates about 17% better feed efficiency, meaning instead of fat, they produce muscle. A serving of beef that is not without treated hormones is 8 nanograms per serving of estrogen, naturally occurring. Serving of beef with treated hormones is 11 nanograms of estrogen. A serving of peas, which is a half a cup of peas, is 2,000 nanograms of estrogen, and a tablespoon of soybean oil has 1 million nanograms of estrogen. So, as consumers, we should have that choice, whether we want it, don't want it, whatever. That's that continuum I talked about. But also educate yourself a little bit about it. Don't just let people create a fear of food within you. Take a look at it.
From the swine industry, we are not permitted to use hormones, and we don't use hormones. We do use antibiotics, and as Bass said, we get put on the spot about the use of antibiotics. We use antibiotics to treat animals, to prevent disease, and to assist growth promotion. They are highly regulated by the FDA. A product that we send to market has to have 0 residue of antibiotics, so they have withdrawal times, which we must abide by, and they are tested at the end point. So, yeah, we do use them, but they are highly regulated, and just like yourselves, they are very expensive. Animal antibiotics are not cheaper than human antibiotics, so you know, we're about sustainability on the economic side too, and if we don't have to use them, those are the first things we don't want to use. We use them because we need to, and it's part of keeping the welfare of the animal and keeping the food safe.